What if the biggest thing space travel changes isn't the rocket? It's you. Not your mind, not your mission, your body, your bones, your children. Because somewhere out there, right now, a species is quietly starting to split in two, and it's yours. Chapter 1: The Child Who Never Felt Home. Somewhere out there, maybe 200 years from now, maybe 500, a child is going to be born who will never feel what you are feeling right now. They won't feel the weight of their own body pressing into a bed. They won't feel wind. They won't feel rain. They will grow up under a sky that isn't a sky at all, a curved metal ceiling or a dome of dust-colored light on a world where the sun looks smaller and colder than it does here. Their bones will be thinner than yours. Their muscles will be built for a world that pulls at them with a fraction of the force Earth pulls at you. Their heart will beat in a slightly different rhythm. And when they look up, if they look up at all, they won't see the Earth as home. They'll see it as a rumor, a blue-green dot their grandparents used to talk about. This is not science fiction. This is where the math, the biology, and the history of every living thing that has ever left home is already pointing. This is the story of what we become when we stop being an Earth species.
Chapter 2: The Body's Quiet Rebellion. It's already happening, not in some distant future, right now, 400 kilometers above your head. Every astronaut who lives on the International Space Station is running an experiment on their own body, whether they mean to or not. And the results are strange and a little unsettling. Within weeks, their bones start dissolving from the inside. Not from injury, not from disease, but simply because gravity is no longer asking their skeleton to hold anything up. They lose bone density at a rate of 1 to 2% a month, a rate that, back on Earth, we'd only expect to see in the elderly, over years, not weeks. Their muscles do the same thing. Legs that once carried them across marathons begin to waste away, sometimes losing a fifth to a third of their mass, no matter how many hours a day they force themselves to exercise in orbit. Fluid that gravity used to pull down into their legs drifts upward instead, swelling their faces, pressing on their eyes, in some cases warping their vision permanently. And above the shield of Earth's magnetic field, radiation from deep space passes straight through their bodies, quietly damaging DNA in ways that will not show up for years. Every astronaut who comes home is in some small way not the same person who left. This is the raw material evolution has to work with, not some far-off mutation. This, right now, a body straining against the place it was never built for. And where there is strain, there is always the possibility of change.
Chapter 3: Survival Writes the Rules. Here's what almost every movie about space gets wrong. Evolution doesn't invent new traits out of nowhere. It doesn't design. It doesn't plan. It simply asks one brutal question, over and over, generation after generation. Who survives long enough to have children, and whose children survive after them? Now imagine a colony that never comes home, a population living permanently in low gravity, generation after generation. Somewhere in that population, there will be people whose bodies happen to hold on to bone density a little better, people whose inner ear, the part of you responsible for balance, adjusts to weightlessness with less trouble, people whose hearts don't strain as hard in an environment with almost nothing to strain against. Those people will simply do better, live longer, raise more children, and slowly, without anyone choosing it, without anyone designing it, the traits that make a body suited to Earth will fade, and the traits that make a body suited to nowhere will spread. And here is the detail that should genuinely unsettle you. The very traits that would let a body thrive without gravity, efficient bone retention, resistance to muscle wasting, a heart that doesn't need strain to stay strong, are almost identical to the traits scientists associate with the healthiest kind of human aging. In trying to survive space, we might stumble onto the secret of not growing old. Chapter 4: The Clock is Faster Than You Think. You'd assume this all takes millions of years, Earth evolution feels glacial. It's why we call something evolutionary when we mean painfully slow. But space doesn't play by that rule. Small, isolated populations, the kind you'd find on a Mars colony or aboard a ship built to carry a few thousand people across the stars, are exactly the setting where a new trait can lock into an entire population in a startlingly small number of generations. There's no ocean of 8 billion people to dilute it. There's just a few thousand souls, cut off, breeding only with each other, generation after generation, in an environment radically different from the one their ancestors evolved in. Add to that the radiation of deep space, which increases mutation rates outright. Run the numbers, and some researchers now believe useful mutations could spread and lock into a small, isolated space population thousands of times faster than they would on Earth. Which means the first truly off-Earth humans might not be some far future fantasy. They might be someone's great-great-grandchild.
Chapter 5. 3 Worlds, 3 Futures. Here's where it gets even stranger. There isn't going to be one future human. There are going to be several, branching apart like rivers splitting around stone, depending on where people actually end up living. On Mars, gravity is barely a third of what you feel right now. Over enough generations, that could favor bodies that are leaner, lighter, less muscular, built to move easily through weak gravity, the same way populations high in the Andes or on the Tibetan Plateau evolved more efficient ways to survive on thin air. But even within one Martian colony, there could be a split. Some will choose to live underground, safe from radiation, trading sunlight for safety. Others will live on the surface, in the open, accepting a shorter, riskier life for space to move and grow. 2 branches of the same colony, quietly drifting apart from each other. Aboard a rotating space station or generation ship, engineers could spin the structure to fake Earth's gravity, and if they succeed, bodies might barely need to change at all. The environment would feel enough like home that evolution would have almost nothing to push against. But on a small sealed arc ship, hurtling toward another star system, with no way back and no new genes ever entering the population, change could happen faster than anywhere else, and so could disaster. Anthropologists studying the scenario have warned that if even a handful of the original crew carry a hidden hereditary illness, that illness could spread through the entire future colony, with nowhere for new blood to dilute it. So the truth is unsettling in its own quiet way. Leaving Earth doesn't mean becoming one new kind of human. It means becoming several, strangers to Earth, and eventually, strangers to each other.
Chapter 6. The part that changes fastest isn't the body. Here's the twist almost nobody expects. The body is the slow part. Culture moves faster than biology ever could. Consider this. In the 3 centuries between the early 1600s and the early 1900s, no space travel, no isolation, nothing but ordinary life on Earth, the English language changed so much that reading a document from the start of that era now requires special training just to understand it. Now take a group of people and don't just give them 3 centuries. Cut them off completely. No visits home, no shared news cycle, no shared sky. Give them their own struggles, their own inside jokes, their own grief, their own tiny miracles. Within a few generations, a Mars-born or ship-born people could have their own language, their own art, their own religion or absence of one, their own stories about what it means to be born somewhere that was never a planet at all. They would still be human, in body, for a long, long time, but they would already have stopped being us.
Chapter 7. Would we even recognize them? So, picture that child again, the one we started with. 100 years from now, maybe 200, raised on Mars or aboard a ship still generations from anywhere. Slightly taller, slightly thinner, a skeleton that holds onto strength in a way that would look almost superhuman to you. A heart shaped by a world with less to fight against. A culture, a language, a way of grieving and celebrating that grew entirely out of a life you and I cannot imagine. Would we still call them human? Biologically, yes. Almost certainly yes. These are the kind of quiet, gradual shifts that happen within a species, not some sudden leap into something else. Nothing here happens in one lifetime. But if you sat that person down next to you and asked them what home means, you might realize you're not looking at your descendant. You're looking at the beginning of something else entirely.
Chapter 8. What we carry with us. We like to imagine space exploration as something we do to space. We go out, we plant a flag, we come home unchanged and tell the story at dinner. But everything we actually know, from the astronauts already losing bone density above your head tonight, to the biologists modeling how fast a small colony could change, to the anthropologists already calculating how many people it would take to survive out there without falling apart, says the opposite. We are not just going to explore space. If we stay, space is going to reshape us, quietly, patiently, generation by generation, until the word human means something wider and stranger and more varied than it has ever meant in all of history. So here's the question worth sitting with, long after this video ends. If your great-great-grandchild is born somewhere with no sky, no gravity, no memory of rain, what do you hope they still carry from you?